Hello, I'm Randy McClure. Welcome to the latest supply chain tech brief.
If you've ever found yourself staring at a spreadsheet packed with shipping data, you know that feeling, right? It's like you're drowning in the sea of numbers, a chaotic web connecting carriers and customers and warehouses. Well, today we're going to talk about a really simple, kind of elegant idea for untangling that web and finding the one clear story that's hiding inside all that data. And this really gets to the heart of it. Trying to find one single useful insight in all of this data, it's exactly like searching for a needle in a haystack. I mean, the information is there somewhere, but it's scattered all over the place across different systems, and it's often incomplete. It just makes finding the truth a massive challenge. So here's the fundamental issue. It's not that we don't have enough data. Oh no, we're practically swimming in it. The real problem is what the source material for this explainer calls shipping data chaos. And that's just a state where you have so many different systems and formats and simple errors that doing any real meaningful analysis is, well, it's next to impossible. This chaos throws up four huge roadblocks. First, you can forget about real-time visibility. It's just not going to happen. You're left with these giant mountains of data that are all broken up, so they can't actually tell you a complete story. This makes trying to automate anything a total nightmare. And it slams the brakes on bringing in modern financial tools that could be saving you a fortune. We all have our little workarounds, don't we? We try to piece it all together using what we have: tracking numbers, purchase orders, invoices, but these are just fragments. They only give you a tiny siloed view of one part of the journey, never the complete picture of what's really going on. Okay, so let's dig into that a bit more. Why exactly do these traditional identifiers always fall short? Why can't they give us that complete picture we so desperately need to make good decisions? This chart just lays out the problem so clearly. Think about the carrier tracking number. Sure, it tells you what the carrier is doing, but that's it. There's no product info, no financial context. Then you've got the carrier invoice number. Well, that's designed for the accounting department, not for operational analysis. And those shipper or customer reference numbers, half the time they're not even there. Each one is basically a dead end. It's like everyone is speaking a different language to describe the exact same journey. And the result of all this, you wind up with the classic garbage in, garbage out problem. You could have the most amazing, sophisticated AI or analytics platform in the world, but if you're feeding it disconnected, unreliable data, the answers you get back are going to be just as unreliable. It's a recipe for flawed decisions and really costly mistakes. All right, so enough about the problem, right? Let's pivot and talk about the solution, because there's this really powerful concept that can bring order to all this chaos. The source calls it the golden thread. Just imagine that for a second. A single golden thread that weaves through every single piece of your shipping data. One identifier that connects the dots between planning, operations, and finance and transforms that tangled mess into one clear, unified picture. And this is what that golden thread is actually called, the Transport Unit ID, or TUID for short. Now, this is not just another tracking number. The absolute key difference here is that it's created by the shipper right at the very beginning of the whole process, the second an order is authorized for shipment. That changes everything. And the way it works is just beautifully simple. First, the shipper creates this unique load ID as soon as an order is ready to move. Second, that one ID becomes the primary key that links every other piece of data to it: operational data, financial data, carrier info, the whole shebang. And third, everyone involved now has access to a single, unified view of that shipment's entire life cycle. And this is why it's a total game changer. For one, it's not tied to any specific carrier, so it works perfectly even on complex trips with multiple carriers. It also directly links the physical shipment back to the original customer order, finally bridging that gap between ops and demand. This boosts analytics for literally every department, and this is huge. It finally unlocks the true power of data-hungry tech like AI. Okay, so we've got the solution. It makes sense in theory. But what does this actually look like in the real world? How does having this unified data actually change things on a day-to-day basis? Well, the impact of this one change just ripples across the entire supply chain. Your transportation planning becomes way more seamless. For e-commerce, you suddenly have total visibility from the moment a customer clicks buy all the way to their doorstep. auditing freight bills gets way simpler, which opens the door for modern financial tech. And with rock solid traceability, you can seriously cut down on fraud. So the concept is really powerful, and the use cases are incredibly compelling. It really seems like this approach is the foundation for the next generation of how we manage supply chains, which, brings up a really important question for all of us. And that's really the final question to think about. Is your supply chain data ready? Because in a world where technologies like AI are quickly becoming essential, having a fragmented, chaotic data landscape isn't just inefficient anymore. It's a massive strategic risk. This golden thread might just be the key to making sure you're ready for whatever comes next.
Hello, this is Raina McClure from SC Tech Insights. Thank you for listening. For more on this topic, click the article link below or go to www.sctechinsights.com for the latest insights on supply chain technology. Thank you and see you next time.